There we go. We're cooking already. All right, football fans. It's a Monday. Everything that happened over the weekend, you and I will be talking about it before we get to the main show at 9 o'clock tonight. Siyakopoza, as you know, Siyakopoza with Baba Mthethwa and Mthethwa, 9 o'clock tonight, and we're talking all gossip from last weekend's football in the Betway Premiership. The big league on the African continent has started, and now it's about time that we start talking of what happened, what did not happen. I guess you all watched the games, all 8 of them, because all teams were playing this weekend, starting with the big two, if I may call them, the big two that played on Saturday. Pirates played against Sekhukhune, and Sundowns visited Chippa United in Gqeberha. And that was one game that many of us were watching and thought that probably Sundowns would get 3 points and come back home and stay top of the log, like always do every season for 8 seasons. That when we start the log, they sit on top and then finish the log still on top. But it was never to be this weekend with Sundowns having some of the big names not playing for Sundowns this weekend. We want to know why and where are those players that are not there. Probably you know something that I do not know. Let's start talking. You know, we are on Baba Mthethwa on TikTok. I'm not alone this time around. I'm with OAA. Omnia, Odo, Africa. Yeah, let's go. I think time is right for us to start talking about what happened over the weekend. I, for one, believe that our league has become so strong that we don't know what to expect. Anything can happen. And teams like Chiefs, Pirates, Sundowns, Stellenbosch, one just expect them to win. But other teams are planning secretly to see how will it happen and how will it go between Pirates, Chiefs, and Sundowns. And they can try to stop them from winning everything every season. Can that change this season? I do not know. But what I believe in is that as long as you plan well, have the right players, have the right coach, and the right technical team, your team can challenge the big boys. The big boys being the ones that wins the trophies every season in and out. In this case, we're referring to Sundowns and Pirates, because in the last past 3-4 seasons, they're winning everything besides when Magesi won the Culling and Stellenbosch won the Culling. So between Nedbank Cup and MTN8, you know it's Pirates, Sundowns. They're always knocking on the door. SuperSport used to be one of the teams that you can never write off in the Nedbank Cup, but where's SuperSport now? Defunct, it's gone. Now we're calling it Siwelele. We'll talk about Siwelele just now in a moment, but for now, let's start to what happened in PE on Saturday afternoon. It was the first game of the league, and guess what? Something very bad happened there. Sundowns probably are now asking themselves, what should we do to stop these small teams from always giving us a hard time? Remember what Magesi did last season? They scored first. Remember what Polokwane City did last season? Remember what Sekhukhune did last season? But did not beat Sundowns. However, they scored first and gave them a shiver on their spine. So, if you were the coach at Sundowns, what's the first thing that you'd want to fix at Sundowns currently? I feel that Sundowns probably came to PE knowing and thinking that probably 3 points is in the bag. Remember, for Sundowns to win the league last season, they beat Chippa United in East London, and that gave them the league. So already in their mind, it was working that this is one team that we're going to beat. But they have a new coach, former employee at Sundowns, Mr. Patela, a very good coach at youth level, and now he's coaching Chippa United. With this one, Chippa Mpengesi came with a plan that I need somebody who understands how does this man coach and how does he get it right? You saw on Saturday, Chippa's playing a different kind of football. They are playing different blend of football. They are attacking, they are running, they are defending. Yes, they considered a goal, but the goal that they scored exposed the number 1 goalkeeper in Africa, in Ronald Williams. It did expose him, because when the goal came in, he was standing there like when I went to training Pretoria. But it happened, the goal went in. So the question is, what was his positioning? Was his positioning right, or was his positioning not right? Answer is very simple, not right. So, Chippa given more time, extra 10 minutes, they could have beaten Sundowns on the day. But Sundowns, a big team, big institution, winners in their minds, in their soul, in everything that they do, Sundowns, they would make sure that they win. So my question is, yes, it was a deflection, I agree. But still, if you're a good goalkeeper, you know how to position yourself looking at where the ball is coming from. You know there could be a deflection to either left or right if you're a good goalkeeper. But I'm not saying he's not a good goalkeeper. Tampoza. Tampoza, don't defend. Tampoza, when already you are defending, maybe I should do this so that maybe we could talk about this live. If you want to come through, please join us on TikTok. I am live with you, Tampoza. I want you to join me as we're talking and see how far we go with this discussion of the deflection and see maybe we'll get something out of this. Tampoza, I've just called you to join me. Please join me. I know you're a big Sundowns fan and also the spokesperson here on TikTok. So let's hear what you say, Tampoza. Let's hear what you say. Skabalia. Skababalia. Kubatamun. Don't run away. Skabachaba wenamuna. So what I was trying to explain was that Chippa knew that Sundowns will come guns blazing, but also very relaxed because they know they beat them all the time. If I remember well, my memory serves me well, Chippa has never beaten Sundowns in the history in the PSL, if my memory serves me very well. I don't remember a Chippa beating Sundowns at any given time. If they have, please remind me when was that. Okay? We'll talk about Kaizer Chiefs now. Don't rush me. Don't rush me. Sailor, chill, Papa. Chill, Papa. We're going to talk about Kaizer Chiefs. We'll talk about Siwelele. We'll talk about Pirates. But for now, we're talking about Sundowns. They are the champions. Let's give them the respect that they deserve as champions. Okay? So chill, Sailor. Chill. Mfaraga, chill. Are you chilled? Thank you. Bawarabile takatao. Very chill. All right, let's see. I really want to talk to Tampoza about this one. Tampoza, Skampalela, I need you to talk to me, please. Yeah, I need to talk to you about what happened the other day. Okay, before that, let me open my lines to some people as well. Leslie, I'm asking you to come through, please. Doms, I see you ready to join us. Let's see, let me open the lines and then we can start talking, guys. Let's see. Tsepo Mike, are you joining me? Thank you. Thank you very much. Please close your mic. Close your mics, guys. Close your mic. Leslie, close your mic, please. Please close your mic. Okay, I'm still trying to load you guys and see how far we go. Mpoza is running away from me. Yeah, I'm not worried. Okay, I want to talk about Sundowns. If you are coming through now, we're going to talk about Sundowns. Not Chiefs, not Pirates. We're going to talk about those much later, not now. Now we're still talking Sundowns only and Chippa United. Right, let's do this. Leslie, how are you? Leslie? Leslie, now I can't about two lamp for it. Leslie? Leslie, okay. Leslie, are you there? Okay. Anyway, Tsepo, how are you? I don't know why. People are running away. They want to come through, and then when we put them through, they don't talk. They keep quiet. It's okay. Not a problem. We move. All right, let's go back to our topic. Sundowns on the day were prepared, but not fully prepared for the first game against Chippa. They didn't know what was coming, and Chippa was well prepared. Badela knows what he's doing. He's a good coach, by the way. And I think he had the measure of Sundowns. He knew how to close them down all the time. Yet they scored first, but I must say, I was impressed by how their movement of the ball was, how they attacked, and how they played that half moon that they played. I haven't spoke to Coach Ngwako after the game, Mamaila, the director of coaching at Chippa United, and that is Coach Pound for Pound. I spoke to him after the game, and he knows that his team was ready for Sundowns. They really wanted to play well against Sundowns, and that opened the door for them to perform better as the season goes forward. So in that next game, I think they're going to win the next game probably, if they do apply the same methods or improve on how they played against Sundowns. And Sundowns, on the other hand, I'll be doing that game tomorrow against AmaZulu in Pretoria. And I'm hoping that Sundowns will change some of the things that they did, and also change some personnel here and there. I know that Atur Saleh scored on Saturday, but I'm still not 100% convinced that Saleh is really somebody who probably Sundowns can really rely on. But having said that, I still feel that he can improve. It depends on who he's playing with. Leslie, how are you? Yo, hi. Let me release that Leslie because he's not talking to me. I got to block a space. If you are talking to me, bye bye. Good night. Hamba. Yeah, right. Right. Pina hound that. Leslie, Tsepo, can you hear me? Tsepo can hear me as well, so I'm gonna have to do this. Yeah, it's gonna be a very interesting season when Temba. It's gonna be a very interesting season, and we're expecting teams like Jonas Sundowns. They can't just think that's gonna be a walkover like other seasons. Most teams are really getting up to challenge Sundowns for the championship. And Betway Premiership is not an easy thing now. I mean, if you look at other teams that are prepared for the championship, they don't just come and play. You know what they've done? They've gone out and looked for players. So, if you were a coach at Sundowns, what would you change now after what happened on Saturday? What would you change? Talk to me. Let me read some of your comments. Temba says it's going to be a very interesting season. And then Sailor say, Sailor serious Kataba Chiefs. We'll talk about Chippa Chiefs now. And then Utile says Chippa's move to their goal was marvelous to watch. Let's take out the deflection part. I agree with you. Leave the deflection part. Tamposa talking about. Yes, their movement towards goal was very, very interesting. That really made me think twice about, wow, these guys are going to cause problems later in the season. If Batela is not fired or something, like Chippa will always fire coaches as and when. So maybe this time he'll keep this man and let him do what he has to do. And what he has to do is very simple. Let him coach the team. You know, sometimes club owners must allow coaches to stay in a team maybe for at least 3, 4, 5 seasons and see what happens. Stevie Barker has been with Stellenbosch since their days in the NFD. How's that? They've qualified for finals in the Confed. Okay? They've been in the finals of the MTN8. They've won the Carling. That's a sign. Same as Orlando Pirates. They kept Riviero 3 seasons, won 5 trophies besides the league and the Champions League. But he won something very good. So if that happens, what do you expect? We expect good football, good brand of football, a new culture in a team, and how they're going to play. Look at Pirates. The longer the Riviero stayed at the team, a new culture was born at Pirates of how they want to play football. Look at Stellenbosch. From being Stellenbosch in the olden days, when they were using another name, they moved to changing that. And Stevie Barker, the longer he stayed there, he changed the culture of how Stellenbosch played, and now they're a winning team. Yes, they lost yesterday. We'll talk about that much later. But yes, talk about it. They have a new culture of play. I'm good. How are you?
I just wanted to jump in as you were talking about Mamelodi Sundowns and the changes that I would think Coach Cardoso needs to implement. I think the first change that Mamelodi Sundowns needs to make, Miguel Cardoso. I don't think he's the right man for the job. He's proven, for me personally, like from game after game that he doesn't understand the philosophy of South African football. He inherited a good team from Mangoba, who inherited the team from Rulani. Why fix it if it's not broken? So now how he plays and how he uses his players, even how he plays Rivero, for me, he's playing him outside of Ribeiro. He's playing him outside of position. So if it's true that Ribeiro is leaving and they lose Khuliso Mudau, Mamelodi Sundowns are going to struggle this season. They're going to have a very tough season because every team has studied them. I think their biggest mistake, which is an achievement also, was going to the Club World Cup because everyone sat back and watched. We also, where they were lacking against the big teams in the Club World Cup. So Chippa United, Eba Shapile Netmo. But Dela studied them during the Club World Cup and he knew that if Kikwalamo, Shapa will come back, they won't have much depth and they won't keep attacking. And I also think that it's time right now that they sort things Peter Shalulile because they think that he's overstayed his welcome, but they still need him if they are to win this league again this season and to go play in the CAF Champions League. Otherwise, Ezimnyamanginkani is taking it.
As Mnyamanginkani will talk about just now. Let's talk about the three individual players who spoke about. Khuliso Mudau, a big loss if he leaves, and currently being probably one of the best right backs that South Africa has in that position, even in the national team. And whether he's going to stay or not, for now, that's immaterial. Sundowns must look at the job at hand, that is defending their title. How are they going to fix that Khuliso Mudau problem? We don't know. We'll see as time goes on. Now, Ribeiro's story, Fluminense wants him. Other three clubs in the subcontinent are looking for him. The Gulf states are looking for him. If he does leave, that opens the door for another player. But who's the player at his caliber at Sundowns right now? None. He's in his own level. Now, yesterday I was watching the Giants documentary on SuperSport, and I saw Ribeiro becoming very frustrated when he was marked out of the ball by Mbogazi. I even commented on the Giants thing. I said, how can an older man like that cry to the referee after being shaken off the ball by a 19-year-old? And somebody wrote and tweeted and said, how Madala, how can you say that? Yeah, I said, yeah, I mean, an older man has got to lead the way to a younger boy. If a younger boy does not show respect on the older man, that means he made the older man look very ordinary. And that's what happened when Pirates beat Sundowns 2-1 at FNB Stadium in the second leg of the Betway Premiership last season. Fine, we move away from that. Khuliso Mudau, good player, best player for a while now. But is it time for him to move abroad? Yes, it's time for Khuliso Mudau to go, make those millions, come back home and retire, okay? Look at players, clever players like Mthethwa. He's a defender. He went away to Russia and played there, made his money, came back home. He's now an analyst at SuperSport. Very good. Look at Macbeth Sibaya, same story. Went to Russia, made his money, came back home. Look at Nassif Morris. Went abroad, made his money, came back home. Okay? Stiga Fredericks went abroad, made his money, did not come back here and play. He came back here and retired, and now he's an analyst as well at SuperSport. So I'm just trying to show you that if you go abroad at your twilight, go there, play your football, make your money, come back home, and either develop or maybe coming into television or maybe radio, whatever the case may be. But don't want to come back home and come and play again. It's a big mistake that we commit because South African football is very limited in terms of space, okay, and in terms of resources. Unlike if you stay in England and then go to Spain and then doesn't go well in Spain, can still go back to England and play in the championship and still make a lot of money in the championship. Unlike if you come from South Africa, go abroad, come back here, want to play in the NFD, that's a degrade in terms of how much money you're going to get, and the prestige thereof is different. Okay. Now, looking at Peter Shalulile. Peter Shalulile is a full international of Namibia. He's got only one goal to score and become a top goal scorer of all time in the league in South Africa. Why don't you allow the man? Why don't you allow the man? Let the man play and score that one goal and then get the record. Remember, his contract had ended already, Peter Shalulile. He was now going into the one-year extension that Sundowns had put into his contract. So they were triggering that one-year extension into his contract. But they had to agree on certain terms and conditions and his specs, okay, for him to stay and extend that one-year contract. But don't forget, we still have the Bossman rule. But the Bossman rule only applies if your contract has ended and there's no extension clause in your contract. But you can still say, I don't want to trigger the 1 year extension. I want to go somewhere else. But the question now is, in that contract that he had with Sundowns for the extension, does Sundowns have any percentage that they own of him if he's sold or if he's bought by another team whilst they've triggered the 1 year extension contract? That's a story for another day that probably need us to sit down and discuss it and get all the facts right. But don't forget, if you're a player, just for interest's sake, if you're a player, excuse me, if you're a player and your contract has ended and you didn't sign a pre-contract with anyone anywhere whilst playing for your team, okay? And also, if your contract has ended, you have a choice to say, I do not want to extend my contract with you, my current team. I have a choice of a team that I want to join. Because as soon as your contract ends, they must give you your clearance. And that's where the Bosman rule comes in. One can ask, what is the Bosman rule? It was a rule by the European Union Court that gave a player called Bosman in Europe to choose a player of his choice that he wanted to play for after his contract had ended with a particular team. I'm sorry, I cannot mention names and that because of obvious reasons. Yeah. So the Bosman rule came into effect in Europe and then now it's applied by FIFA. So whether you like it or not, if a player's contract has ended, it's ended. You can't force a player to play for you. But if there was still that extension, you can still discuss it. If they want to stay, they'll stay. If they don't want to stay, I don't stay. But then the question is, how much are they going to decide on the money part? Who's going to get what and who's going to get what if you are bought by another team? Because you don't have your clearance as yet. Okay, let's move away. Now, those three players, Shalulile, Mudau, and Ribeiro, are they going to stay at Sundowns? If they leave, what's going to happen? We don't know. We'll see about that one. So now, Sundowns coming to this week's game against AmaZulu, they need to start now, pushing power over the pedal and making sure that they start fighting back what is theirs, as they call it, the Betway Premiership, because they've won it 8 times now. So AmaZulu played very well as well on Saturday. Yes, they got 3 points from a lowly Orbit College, and we all know Orbit College, it's Orbit College, and it's still Orbit College. In time, but for now, Orbit College is still Orbit College. And see, as soon as you start changing grounds, the problem starts there. They knew they were going to play in the PSL. Again, this ground that they're using in Rustenburg, they played the last game of qualifiers of the playoffs in the same ground. Why are they moving now? Are they sure they're going to fill up Olympia Park as and when they're playing? I don't think so. You and I know people in the Northwest still support the big teams. If I was them, I'll say what I said here after the playoffs. Immediately after they qualified, they should have gone to the king in Phuket and said, Raigokobeta, Hosi, can we be under your wing as Yabafukeng, okay? And become part of the Bafokeng tribal authority, okay? And then use your facilities. There's a hotel next to the stadium, Marang Hotel. Good facility, swimming pool, gym, everything's there, okay? Next door, it's the Royal Bafokeng Sports Palace. That's what they should do, okay? About being a college means that there are a lot of distractions at the college. They need to move away from that environment. Move away from it. They must go and play far from the distraction of students and. But let's go back to what we were talking about. I was just trying to show you AmaZulu should have beaten Orbit by so many goals. But they could not because AmaZulu still are trying to fix their problems. So AmaZulu and Sundowns going to be a big problem. You remember when the last time AmaZulu beat Sundowns? Yo, I'm trying to remember, but I cannot. I just cannot. Maybe you know. Let's leave it at that. All right, let's move on. Hoping Sundowns will recover from that draw in Port Elizabeth on Saturday, and Chippa, hoping that they'll march on and now get more traction into the new structures of how they're playing and the new coaching staff. I hope that will be the case. But anyway, let's go to the next match. The next match was Pirates against Sekhukhune. Give me a moment. I need to do this just now. All right, football fans, we're back again. I told you, we try new things. Omni Audio, Africa, Baba Mthethwa, our branch show, every Monday, 11:30. That was our test run that happened earlier. We're trying to see if we can work out some technical issues and see if we can work out. Now we know what to do and how we're going to do it. So from next week, Monday, starting today actually, we have this show every Monday, 11:30, live on Omni Audio Africa with Baba Mthethwa. It's called Monday Football Branch with Baba Mthethwa. So don't forget, it's very important for you to mark this down because the league has started, all competitions have started, even European football is starting this coming weekend. So we'll be talking African football, South African football, and world football for that matter here on the football branch on Monday with Baba Mthethwa. So all that will be happening here on TikTok with myself on Baba Mthethwa 8 on TikTok and also Omni Africa Audio. Bon, TikTok, how about football? What about football? And everything that goes with football can be gossip, can be the lies that come with football. We'll get them here. We'll correct the wrong narratives. We'll also talk about everything that is good, that is not good. We'll talk about it. Also have topics about those topics that we run away from talking about. I'll be having my sidekick, Mthethwa in Cape Town with me and talking about some of those topics that we don't want to talk about, but we'll be talking about them here live on Omni Audio Africa and Baba Mthethwa every Monday at 11:30. But don't forget, we still have our nightly program on my TikTok at 9 o'clock, Monday, Football Siyakoboza. We're talking all the gossip that happened over the Monday. Maybe the cases going on. As we know, there are a lot of cases going on in our football currently. And we also look at the movement of players. Some people are saying, I've signed somebody. We know they haven't signed them. Some saying, no, one is going to this team. Say, that's not truth. They're not going there. They're going this way. So all those topics, we're going to talk about them on that show at 9 o'clock every evening here on TikTok. Monday night, 9 o'clock, and also 11:30 here on Omni Africa Audio with Baba Mthethwa. Every Monday, 11:30. Go tell your friends, tell your girlfriend, tell your wife, tell your brother, tell your sister, tell your uncle, tell everyone who wants to know that we are live every Monday. Okay. Let's start our topic for today. We started with earlier on spoke about Chippa and Sundowns. Now we're going to the game that followed that everyone was anticipating. The game that happened at Orlando Stadium between Orlando Pirates and Marumo Gallants, not Marumo Gallants, and Sekhukhune. That game was many people were expecting that game to be a humdinger of a game. And as we speak, my sidekick has just joined me. I was wishing for this one to happen. And thank you very much. He's coming through to join me, my sidekick, Mthethwa, all the way from Cape Town. We're going to talk about what happened over the weekend. But don't forget, me and him again, 9 o'clock tonight with Siyakoboza nightly show on TikTok. Okay, let me see who else can we invite to join us and talk about this. Mthethwa, I'm trying to get hold of you. I know you can hear me. I'm trying to invite you, sir. That's what we can start. Right. If you want to join us, and it's very simple, go to TikTok by 128 or Omni Audio Africa. We are linked at the same time, and you can find out. If you look behind me at that screen behind me, it tells you the whole story of where we are and what we are doing. Mthethwa, can't take it. How? Kubatla mon, hakubatli mo di fatemo, kubatla mon. Yeah, kubatla mon and tatwak. All right, let's do this very quickly. And let me find my people here. Okay. Anyway, as we're waiting for people to join us, let's continue. Orlando Pirates, lot was expected, but less came out of that game at Pirates on Saturday. I think most of us were expecting Pirates to play well and walk over Sekhukhune. But behind my head, I had this thing that Sekhukhune will always give Pirates a hard time, no matter which game it is or where the game is played. Yes, Pirates beat them in Polokwane last season, yes, but then they came back and beat Pirates at a very crucial time of the league. Sekhukhune always does this. They'll disturb you. When you are at the right track to do something, they'll always disturb you. So, I for one feel that Pirates need to find a way of how to beat Sekhukhune. Sekhukhune cannot become Pirates' nemesis every season. No. Pirates must stop that thing. If Pirates want to win the league, I'll say what I always say. Win your home games. You've got 15 games to play at home. At least win 10 of those. Okay? That's 30 points. Win another 10 away from home. That's 60 points. Okay? Then play maybe 3-4 draws. That's 64 points away and home. 64 points, you win the league in South Africa. Win 10 games at home. Win 10 games away from home. There's 16 teams. Target certain number of teams that you know that these ones, no maganchani, we have to beat these ones away and home. There are teams that you know that when you play against them, you can beat them at Orlando and away at home. This season we've got Orbit College. I'm not disrespecting Orbit College, but I'm saying it's a team that cannot be matched with Pirates with anything besides playing football together in the same league. Somehow, somewhere, something has to happen, because between the two teams, Pirates and Orbit, tell me where they can match Pirates. So Pirates must guarantee 6 points from them. Just as a hypothetical example.